Hi everyone, I want to talk about one particularly interesting build that I've tried out with my rogue when I had the early access client to Diablo 4, and that's Rain of Arrows. I already actually previewed this build a while ago, like a month or something, when I talked about the third class specialization of the rogue, the preparation specialization, which, in case you didn't know, provides cooldown resets. So I actually have a full build planner here that I made like around that time. And with this preparation specialization, you can reset your ultimate skills by 4 seconds every time you spend 100 energy. And then you might have seen this unique item that was previewed already on one of the developers teams, I believe, or something, that gives you all imbuements when you use Rain of Arrows. So I actually tried to make a build around this, and this is what you see here in action. Rain of Arrows is a horribly undertuned skill, in my opinion, on a rogue. It's like the one rogue skill that is just like awful in my book. And I tried to make it work with that amulet. It's like the one build enabling item for Rain of Arrows, in my opinion. Other than that, I don't really see much hope for it. Now, there are also other reasons to use Rain of Arrows. I can definitely see that being useful in PvP. I can see it even useful for a certain like very difficult content where you just like press the button and it's like some kind of panic button or like some, massive crowd control disable that it can do at the start of a fight when you have like this 3 seconds knockdown that it can also prolong with other effects. So there are definitely reasons to use Rain of Arrows, but it's like very, very niche. And here it's supposed to be kind of like a main damage nuke. With this preparation ability, I will try to reset it as fast as possible together with the twisting blades, and you can see that it does come back relatively quickly. And it does look awesome and do a lot of damage. You see how sometimes those elites just melt, and you can just reset the cooldown when you're constantly attacking in something like 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. My cooldown wasn't really like fully optimized around this build, and in general, I was a bit weaker than I should have been with this. And even though I believe that this is not really the craziest rogue build out there, I already made my guide for the Death Trap rogue, for example, which I believe to be the overall best. It's still not bad in my opinion, and it does have some really feels good man moments. Like you have this huge pack of monsters, you have like elites in there, you throw your Rain of Arrows and it's just like the entire screen just explodes because you have Shadow Imbue, Cold Imbue, Poison Imbue. Especially the poisons is like the real kicker here on this build, because this build just scales the poison really hard. You get extra ranks to poison imbuement, you have extra power of imbuements. The Rain of Arrows itself has an upgrade that increases the power of those imbuements, and then there's a legendary aspect that does it again. Then it's also a glyph that does that, and you can have something like more than double the power of your imbuements or something like that. And then you can like hyper scale them with extra skill ranks and all this good stuff. And exactly here you see one of those situations. There's like a lot of monsters spawning around me. You press the button and then the Rain of Arrows just like, wipes the entire screen twice and everything explodes because of all those imbuements. It looks really cool. Now, I do have to say, it's a little bit sad to see that such a cool looking ability is actually kind of gated behind like a very, very specific setup, behind a unique that you have to find like very late in the game. And outside of that, there's not really much of a reason to use Rain of Arrows, I think. I think the skill could just be beefed up a little bit in general, and even with this combo, I felt like I could do better things with other setups. But it's not bad, and as you can see, you can like just wipe entire rooms with this wave of extra arrows. It looks so cool. I'm not gonna make like a full guide for this now, like going about all the details about everything you wanna roll, but I just wanna highlight that this is another option for rogues that you might wanna explore later in the game. So what you need is the Word of Hakan, is like the one required piece here. And then there are some other like relatively strong synergies, especially the aspect of corruption that gives you imbuement skills extra potency when they hit vulnerable enemies. So you generally have everything vulnerable on the rogue when you try to build it right. So for example, with Blast Trapper you can do that, or with the exploit glyph that just procs vulnerable automatically when you engage in combat, and these kind of things. I have this build linked in the description, so if you want to go check it out. Yeah, there's like Twisting Blades based, so it can actually deal damage while Rain of Arrows is on cooldown. And we have all the imbuements spec'd because you actually get those extra effects, which makes this combo so powerful. So you can actually produce those vulnerable explosions from the Shadow Imbuement. You can get this extra crit, you can chill everything, you can get the extra damage through crowd controlled enemies, and then you have the Rain of Arrows down here. To be fair, it's actually really hard to fit in all these different abilities and beef them up and all that stuff, because you just don't really have the points. There's like so much good stuff to take. But this is the setup I made, and this is what I showed here in those clips. And it worked just fine. So in general, I'm quite excited to see what else you're going to discover with the Rogue. It's my main class, of course. You know, I'm going to try a lot of stuff with this. And once everyone gets their hands on the game, there's probably going to be some pretty crazy stuff that we discover. In any case, I wanted to highlight this build because it's like one of the coolest looking and feeling builds in my opinion. Even though it has like this huge downtime, it also has this insane burst, and that just makes the build what it is. And that's definitely something quite curious and special for rogues in particular, that usually don't really rely on those like big cooldown abilities. But then when you need it, you have this, you know, big burst, and it just feels good. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you guys next time.